Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty and Beyond. Today we're going to be talking about pretty privilege in France. We're going to be talking about the French girls' natural beauty, their diet, their exercise, their routines. We're going to get into everything, including what the locals think about just the stereotypical French look in general. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, leave a like, and a comment about what you think about today's topic. In French culture, you are taught to embrace your imperfections, and there's more emphasis on style than your looks alone when it comes to beauty. Vogue describes French beauty as effortless cool, and I couldn't agree more. The French beauty stereotype, or the standard of beauty in France, has always upheld the rule of less is more. I'm currently reading In Pursuit of Elegance by Matthew E. May, and I'm really deepening my understanding of the beauty in nuance and how doing things in the most simple way is really what gives it more of a dynamic type of effect. So, true story, when I worked at a very popular makeup store in the mall that I keep telling you guys about, I was going through my own journey of self-love and self-acceptance, especially when it came to maintaining my beauty and creating work-life balance. So, I had to have a beauty routine because my entire work revolved around it. I would feel bad if I looked not my best, and I could tell by if people wanted help from me or not. And my days would just drag by if I didn't look good or if I didn't feel good at work, especially because if I'm working in a beauty store, why am I not an example of how to be beautiful? It's literally my entire job. So, and there are other jobs like that too, that doesn't necessarily have to be in the realm of makeup, but your beauty and your lifestyle and your work-life balance really rely on how you perform at work. But during this period, I was experiencing my own personal beauty renaissance that led me to strip away all the drama. So, no colorful eyeshadow, no dramatic lashes, no pink lips, no wigs, just natural beauty. And for the first 2 years, I was so caught up with the color side of my job, the makeup side of my job, that I completely neglected the skincare side. But when I finally decided to explore that realm, it's like I just unlocked one of the most beautiful eras that I've had looks wise, and it's something that I can take along with me on my journey to achieving the type of beauty that I would like. So, anyway, these two women came rushing in, and it was the middle of winter. I remember they were wearing big fluffy coats, beautiful, beautiful women, probably in their late 20s, early 30s, but blonde and a brunette, and they were like explaining that they were in a rush. They had a flight or something that they needed to catch, and they needed the best makeup that they could get really, really fast. And they're like coming to me and they're like saying like, we came to you because your look is so natural. Your skin is amazing. Tell us what to buy. We will buy anything, but we need to be quick and fast, so we will buy everything you will recommend. And it's so crazy because I would get clients like this all of the time that would literally just let me pick out everything they were going to buy. Like, people would buy like thousands and thousands of product if I recommended it. And it was like I was a personal shopper, but for people's beauty routines. And, they would always love it. They would always come back and tell me, like, your advice worked. You know what you're talking about. Like, and it would make me so happy because it's like, I really I taught you something that improved your life, and you came back and you told me. that it worked out. So I really loved doing that. My advice was always based on their schedule, like what they were doing, where they were going, if it was daytime or nighttime, daily or for going out. If we got like 5 minutes, I'm going to give you everything you need in that 5 minutes to get the look that you want. But anyway, I was just so flattered because this was at a time where I had a very extensive skincare routine, and I had switched out my full face of makeup for just subtle products that'll give me a very dewy, almost editorial kind of look. And it was always really nice when people knew exactly what I was going for as far as aesthetic, and people who could relate to that. And it was just so much fun for like when I was with a client for the next 5 to 10, sometimes 30 minutes to an hour, just exploring that avenue of beauty together on a common ground of like, I get what you want. Like people, like girls would come in, like, and I'm black, so let's say a white girl would come in and she would say, hey, like I'm looking for a tanner, and it's like, but you don't want to be orange. Exactly. Yeah, I know, girl. Like I got you, like I have more of a pink undertone, and I'm going to finish the sentence for them, and they'll like feel safer with me because it's just like I'm going to describe to you exactly what you want. Like if even if you show me a picture, you can just describe it. You can go by your everyday. Like I'm not comfortable with makeup, but we're always going to find something that like is perfect for you and your routine, like, and achieve what you want to look like at the same time. It was really fun working there, but I don't work there anymore because the environment is just totally different from back then when I used to work there. But it was a really revolutionary, like feminine, female, girly experience. I also worked there in 2 different major cities as well. So the experience I have in the beauty industry is very, very vast. And I'm also a professional photographer. I'm a designer as well as an image consultant. And I'm an online image consultant as well. So if you are interested in any of these services, definitely feel free to reach out to me. Shameless plug. But anyway, basically, the effortless hair, the effortless makeup, but the full effort of skincare is what you want to go for if you're trying to emulate that French standard of beauty, especially in 2024. I think a blend of like minimalist, old money, and quiet luxury fashion will blend together to create sort of a neoclassicism kind of style. And I also think that there'll be an emphasis on comfortability and relaxation to boost this sort of mood of a lounging aristocrat, or like the bored rich minimalist, if you will. And I know these names are really toxic, but like, self-awareness is key. So to this, I'd like to point out that in the article of Vogue that I mentioned, titled Unpacking the Effortless Cool of French Girl Beauty, Caroline de Marguerite, model and author, describes the appeal of the French girl look as being seen as a form of nonchalance, and the freedom of being is probably what people find attractive about it. So while Lena Situations, a vlogger who in the same article said that the French girl look is something that has been created by the movie industry, she says the advertisement industry and magazines, which has been ruled by men for a very long time, so we're seeing women through a man's eye. It is what men think of as beautiful. So she also asked the question of what changed from the time when the French royals were known for wearing tons and tons of makeup to now where we have this French girl aesthetic, which is so similar to the clean girl aesthetic. It's so minimalistic, pops of color with the neutrals type of vibe. And honestly, to this point, I'd like to just point out that her assertion is ironically oversimplistic at the same time. It's also kind of dismissive of the agency and autonomy of women. It's like it's true that Hollywood and the entertainment industry and women and society as a whole influences the way in which the beauty goalpost moves, but ultimately women has had the choice. They've had the choice over the years and have actively participated in shaping and redefining beauty standards through their own self-expression and choices and preferences. Like, you really can't give men that much credit when it comes to beauty in any kind. That they're not that smart, and they did not build us from clay and just tell us how to be. Like, so come to think of it, if the royals who were known for like to do things for wealth and power and fame, who's to say that the French girl look that we have today isn't simply a rebellion against societal hierarchies? Like, it's kind of like you can kind of throw the argument around, and that's how I feel about just beauty ideologies in general. It's like you can throw the argument around, but it just let it be. Like, it is what it is. Regardless, in my research, I also found this kind of contradictory to this video, but it was kind of a juicy comment that said this. It said, "You make loads of effort with your appearance in pertaining to the French girl look, right? So skincare, diet, exercising, choosing the perfect cut of clothes and getting all tailored, spending hours on your haircut and hours curling it perfectly, and messing it up just to look like you woke up to run your hands through your hair, and your perfect makeup that makes it look like you just drew some quick red lipstick over your lips before rushing out." But that is the key. It's kind of like hard to read what they're saying, but it says, "But that is the key to never let on how much effort you make. Retain a mystery about it and kind of act like it's all natural. It's a fraud, but it's how they do it. Read up about the French attitude. The French are arrogant." No offense to the French. This is not my thoughts. This is literally just a comment. It says, "Well, Parisians, especially, sorry to lovely French readers, and pride themselves on not getting wound up about things, pride themselves on not caring too much, and on being opinionated on things. It's partly true, but the reality behind the scenes is more like the rest of the human race. They're deeply insecure, judgmental, hate aging, rely too much on alcohol and cigarettes to cope, have disordered eating, have tumultuous relationships with plenty of cheating, etc., etc., etc. The glamour is merely a facade, a mirage." And yes, beauty is a facade, a mirage. It's a story. It's a fleeting thing, just like emotions, right? But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't really have too much of an opinion on that statement, but spill the tea, because I like it because it's real. Like, maybe if you want to adopt this look, you can keep this type of rhetoric in mind to steer clear from any poser tendencies that would ultimately diminish your confidence. It's cultural appreciation, babes. It's and that effortless look isn't so effortless. So in another sense, I came across a comment that said, "Europeans and almost every other culture tend to find American culture a bit odd in its absolute obsession with perfection. If it's not symmetrical or perfectly shaped, fix it. To most other people, there's nothing fixable about themselves, mostly." Okay, and this comment I actually love because in most of my research, plastic surgery or cosmetic procedures did not come up as much as it did in my research about Miami's standard of beauty compared to this research about France. So in my video about microsurgeries to achieve your standards of beauty, I mentioned how I'm not too concerned with getting my teeth fixed or straightened as much because it's a very Western thing to have perfect, straight, white, pearly teeth. And I think the same thing goes with the overall facial symmetry and aesthetics. In other places around the world, it's not completely necessary to have this perfect kind of look. in order to be seen as someone, like America does, and the Western society in general, like does have a obsession with kind of looking quote unquote perfect. So anyway, in a formulaic way, you can say that the French woman has created a holistic approach to beauty. And this reflects in such a way that their beauty relies on their fashion and their overall demeanor, and the face and the hair is a plus. Also, with the ingredients of most of skincare products in France, they're not harmful. They're very ethically resourced because they have high standards when it comes to those things. Skincare practice is taught to French women at a very early age. So, in an article by Prudence Wade for the UK's Independent, Dr. Maureen Vincent, who's the founder of the French pharmacy, says that the French has always seen skincare as part of self-care. So it's not an option. It's like a part of brushing your teeth in the morning. So she also talks about how French skincare products are very inexpensive and they're all natural because of their very strict EFSA rules and regulations. So what I also noticed is that the French, they use a lot of prevention creams. And apparently there's a cult following around French skincare and French pharmacies. So anyway, here are some of the products that I researched about that apparently you just have to have, and that's going to be the A313 vitamin A cream. And this is apparently what all the models use to look perfect all of the time. So if you've ever heard of a retinoid or retinol, a retinoid or a retinol is a synthetic form of vitamin A. So this cream is pure vitamin A. So this is used to help clear up severe acne and psoriasis, but it also is like known for treating other skin disorders, but it helps with premature aging from the sun. So this is kind of those everything in one type of products. Okay, so next is going to be the La Roche-Posay Cicablast Balm B5. So this product is a multi-purpose balm which is used to moisturize and hydrate very, very dry skin. It's also suitable to use on sensitive skin and skin that's prone to redness or post-procedure skin as well. And this retails for like $15, you guys. Next is going to be the Biotherm Late Solaire Hydratant 50. So this is just an SPF, and sunscreen seems to be the main thing that people rave about. And it's known as the most anti-aging product in France as well. And I saw that someone said that the sunscreen formulations in France are completely different and better than the US because the EU has more approved filters for broader protection. So other than sunscreen, the formulations are similar. So like Avene, Bioderma, and SVR are really good sunscreens as well. La Roche-Posay also has the entails UV Immune sunscreen, which is really good. And then the Biofine cream is supposed to be really good as well. As far as miscellaneous beauty, the French girls, they get the muted French manicure, which is also known as the modern French manicure or an American manicure. It's kind of like that no manicure type of nail style, but you know, using natural cuticle oils and hand lotions are very popular as well. And fragrance is also very huge in France. Like, it's not named the city, Paris is not named the city of fragrance for no reason. So France is also known for the Grasse, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but the historical capital of flowers and the professional noses of the French Riviera. So popular ones are like Coco Mademoiselle, Dior J'adore, Chanel, Gabrielle, Lancôme La Vie est Belle. Like, I've heard that people actually walk around with that one. Okay, so as far as their diet and exercise, honestly, anybody who lives outside of the US is most likely going to have a better diet because their food is more than likely not processed and it's grown naturally. So, also, it's known or like rumored that French women basically eat under 1,500 calories a day to stay skinny. But at the end of the day, French culture in general is conducive to like a healthy lifestyle and healthy body. And there are many aspects, including like mindful, slow eating. Like in America, a lot of people act like they're in a rush all the time, but like slowly eating, chewing all of your food, eating whole foods, and then eating everything in moderation is also really important. So they actually go to the gym maybe once or twice a week at most, and unlikely before work, as most gyms won't offer classes before 9 a.m. So you might as well forget a 5 day per week, 5 a.m. workout session because it's not happening in France. So, but at the end of the day, they do move their bodies daily. Walking a lot is very common in France. Stairs are very, very common in France. And it's never really about deprivation or absolutes. It's about being smart with their choices, quantities, and opportunities when it comes to their relationship with food. So it's more natural food at the end of the day. It's more fulfilling. It's not addictive. So at the end of the day, they just have a healthy relationship with their food. As far as hair goes, they keep their hair clean, obviously. They have really healthy hair, no split ends. But at the end of the day, the way they style it, they make sure that it's not too done. But like, no beachy waves. But just make sure that it's not too perfect at the same time. And that's the same thing that goes with their makeup. So obviously, it's going to be skincare first, your sunscreen, your tinted sunscreen, whichever one you use. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like effortless everything. You apply your makeup with your fingers for like a semi-blotted, less polished look. You avoid extremes like overlining your lips or heavy contour or, full coverage foundation or false lashes, no highlight, but like imagine trying to put the Miami girl in France. Like it's not really going to mesh well. But of course, they like to experiment with like a bold lip or like a really pretty rouge. That's kind of like a necessity to kind of go with it. They're like, I'm not like too much of a boring girl. As far as their style, because like I said, their beauty kind of relies more on their style and their demeanor. The New York Times actually describes the French girl textbook style as wearing a camel trench coat over jeans and brown hair and messy bangs, looking naturally tousled as if she woken up that way. Her visible makeup consisted mostly of red lipstick, which have faded into a more natural looking tint. And as if on cue, a waiter approached to deliver her black coffee and a croissant. And it's so funny because like another comment online said, in my mind, like this type of look means high-end fabrics like silk, linen, wool, and mixing sophisticated clothing with more free-flowing pieces like a silk blouse and a structured skirt, combining a soft and hard aesthetic, which I would have to agree with, going back to the entire lazy wealth kind of look. Like I said, these names are so screwed, but it's fitting given the industry. Like I said, self-awareness is key. But honestly, with all that being said, that's all I have for y'all today. What did you think about the French beauty lifestyle? A lot of people describe French beauty as like high end or sophisticated, but other people can describe it as like boring or muted. So share your take in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.